All right, that's more like it. So I am on the proper channel this time. Those of you who happen to be catching this, make sure you watch part 1 first. I put that link in my bio, and just a bit of backstory. I actually thought I was on this channel initially, but I was on my main channel. So listen, everything happens, okay, for a reason. So watch that over there, subscribe, and then come and watch the second part over here. I love you so much. Listen, this dialogue is so past due. We have to do better, not only as women. Ooh, sorry. Okay, not only as women, and thank you, E-Dog, for the love, but truly as black women. Black women, you know, we have to do better. So I'm gonna wait for more people to get in, because I know that we had to switch over to this channel. But we're gonna pick up from where we left off. So don't you worry, okay? So Kristen Page, she gave her body to an individual who severely humiliated her on national television. You can't take that back. Millions upon millions of people will see that. Her children will have access to that one day. It's just, you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful, and you have to know how to navigate in your power so that you will not be made a fool of. She had so many opportunities to take her power back, and she did at the end, but it was like, girl, you're late. Okay, better late than never. Okay, so we were talking about the lack of attraction and how that should always be a deal breaker. Lack of attraction is not that, If the person is not attracted to you, there's literally nothing there. There's no religious foundation that should keep you enslaved in a dynamic that is literally not valuing you. You know, and I love her relationship with God and you know, whatever that is. But listen, lukewarm or no attraction at all is a no-go. And just because they have sex with you does not mean they're attracted to you. So let's continue forward. I hope that all that were watching the first video make the transition over here to watch the rest. But this next part that I want to watch with you all is a conversation that she's having with his parents. Let's take a moment. Also hit that thumbs up button for me, please. Thank you. I love you. Okay. Ooh, that's none of your business. Okay.
Like, I'm from Chicago. It's a different type of code that we follow. You don't disrespect nobody's mom or parents. You don't disrespect nobody's kids. You don't disrespect nobody's spouse. Those are the 3 off-limits things for where I come from and my culture. And I take that serious. I don't like talking about sex in front of a bunch of people. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And with all due respect, like, I did not want to have sex coming into yesterday, but I wanted to feel a closeness to my wife. Maybe, you know, I would generate some type of attraction. And whether thinking was right or wrong, it was mutually agreed upon.
I've talked to multiple guy friends, and it was very confusing for them that a man would engage in sexual activity with someone that they're not physically attracted to, in whatever regards. That is definitely different.
I'm just not comfortable, you know,
talking about it. I mean, that's fine. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
Or having my wife talk about it with her male friends, or, you know.
Well, I mean, I've had those friends before I've known you, so
they don't take. It doesn't matter when you get married. Your husband takes precedence over them.
Okay.
Like, my sexual life is private. I don't do it and then go kiss and tell. I don't like that. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't like it. For me, it's awkward and it's weird. And
it seems like you have a lot of problems with a lot of different things.
Mentioning the details of our sexual experience to several different people it just makes me feel violated, and I felt like the trust was betrayed. No way that I should feel like this.
Same. I don't.
I didn't disrespect you, though. I didn't disrespect you.
You keep saying that.
I did not disrespect you.
Chris, in your eyes.
I did not disrespect you.
In your eyes.
I should be able to come to my wife and tell her, hey, this is what's going on, no matter how good or bad.
Okay. So you guys, I actually have an unpopular opinion that I want to share with you guys and run it by you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Lift your voices, okay? I want to hear from you because, again, this is something that I really had to think about because I'm like, wow, this is how I feel. Okay. So when it comes to Chris's attraction,
all right, greetings, Floral.
Listen, it's some weird things going on today. But listen, okay. So when it comes to Chris and him being attracted to Paige or him not being attracted to her, right? I personally don't see that as a terrible thing. Either you're attracted or you're not. Like if I were on the show and I was matched with Chris, I wouldn't be attracted. I'd be like, damn, like you know, like how can I work through this? So I didn't see anything wrong initially. Now him having sex with her was a consensual choice between the two of them. And for him to choose to do that is where he really stained his whole situation. You know, if he would have said to her, I want to wait, I want to get to know you better first, but he claimed that he was using sex as a tool to see if he could bond with her and develop this closeness. Was it silly? Sure. Was it naive? Yeah. Just like she was being naive, and if that's, you know, the case for him, he was being naive. So this was the first episode I watched. I didn't watch the actual first episode. I watched episode 3, which I think this is. I didn't see anything wrong. I said, okay, they're both being naive, but everyone was really coming down on Chris. And I understood why. I see how that, you know, when you objectively observe, I can see how that is taking advantage of someone that you knew you didn't want to be with. If you knew you didn't want to be with her, you should have just ended things then and there or not had sex with her. But when he said that he was utilizing the act of intimacy to see if he could get closer to her, or garner some attraction, yeah, on one end you could see it as BS, you're lying, right? Or you could see it as someone who's really naive as well. Like attracts like. Maybe they're just both really naive in some case, in some way. So I want to know what you guys think about that. Because it was just like I was reading the response and everyone was talking about how terrible he is and poor Paige. But it's like, no, Paige needs to take accountability for her stance in this as well. So women, I want to have this dialogue with you all, because I've seen this play out with not only clients, but I've seen this play out like in my my teenage years. As a teenager, I could see part of myself in Paige, where it's like, oh, you know, just because we're intimate, you know, he must feel the same way I feel for him. No. Men process that, they process it differently. They process emotions differently. And as a woman, you are going to develop an emotional connection with those you have sex with. That's why it's very important that you are selective. And not only that, we know the spiritual exchange that goes down with it all. So we have to be more discerning. And she was picking it up on the day of the wedding. On the wedding day, she was like, I just wish he was looking at me more. There's a reason as to why he's not giving you that attention. when someone's attracted to you, it's like two magnets. He's going to be looking at you. He's going to be close to you. He's going to be, it's just, it's palpable, ladies. Don't be bamboozled. Now, let's say Chris is a total narcissist and he calculated this entire thing simply for clout. We still have to confront the issue of Paige and her self-worth and self-esteem and the religious spirit that bound her in this situation far too long. There were so many, blaring signs that would indicate it's time to go. Exit stage left, sweetheart. But she was just so wrapped up in her delusion. He's a man of God. Okay, I'm a woman of God. Okay, we shouldn't divorce. We should stay together. I should be here, for my husband. And then she continues. So as this progresses, you all, because I'm going on tangents, but this is a dialogue. I want to hear from you as well. I'm going to check the comments shortly. As it progresses, she continues to be intimate with him because she felt like it was her duty as a wife. And I'm just like, listen. And the man is sitting there saying, let's go 50-50. You take the tab. You pay this, you pay that. So he's not taking on the responsibility of a husband. Okay? And we haven't even gotten to the worst part. Okay? Because it gets worse. It just spirals. That's what happens. But you're giving your body to him out of obligation? Girl, bye. Now, Paige, if you happen to be watching this, make sure you watch part 1, first of all. But if you happen to come across this somehow, some way, email me. Because there's a spirit of desperation that needs to be rebuked out of your life. There's a spirit of docility and low self-esteem and low self-worth. Now, in the end, you walked away. But I feel like it had to get to a point where there was literally no choice. So we must ask ourselves, what's happening here? So Drea says, he is such a joke, can't handle having a grown-up convo. A big bumble cloud. Listen, I agree. He was a doofus. He was a dweeb. It was clear from the beginning. Just the way his face looked smushed on his head. I knew there was going to be an issue with processing mature thought forms. I could just tell that he was very little boy-ish. But the thing is, you meet a lot of men, especially in their late 20s, early 30s. I'm sorry, ladies. Listen, you got to be careful with these men who are in their late 20s. I think he's like 27, 28. Just be mindful. Because a lot of them, they put on a front, but they really are man children. Now, when she's talking to his parents, his father took up this position that was respectable. But again, I feel like a lot of this is for the camera. A lot of this is true. And that's what narcissists do. They put on this front to make it seem like I'm a respectable being, upright character. But really, come on now. I want you guys to tell me what you think about the conversation she has, or about, the conversation his parents have with him. And then I'll take a look at your comments. This is the video that popped up. Okay, I don't know I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just organizing.
Writing.
Okay. So, you know what? Let's move forward. I can just kind of narrate. So she eventually has a conversation with his parents, tells them what happens. That's why he was upset with her telling his parents about them being intimate. Because again, that image, right? He wants that pristine, perfected exterior that everyone sees. So he was really bothered by that. And then his parents had a conversation with him where his father said, don't hurt her. And that was respectable because his father was like, you know what? He thought she was beautiful, But, it is what it is. Don't hurt her. Is kind of what the father was saying. And I'm just kind of paraphrasing. He did say more than that, but it was along those lines, right? And the mother actually eventually was just kind of co-signing what the father was saying. But when they were speaking initially at the table with Paige, the mother said something about him being drunk on the wedding night. Why did you sleep with her? Well, he was drunk. He had drinks. I get what she was trying to say. And again, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but you have to understand the mother, she is looking at it from, she sees the little boy. She sees the little boy that we all see, but she's showing up as a mother with compassion and keeping it real. Like, he was probably drunk. And then on top of that, he's immature. Yes. But we're seeing it as this grown man, because he should be showing up as a grown man, right? He should be an adult in this situation. And although he was honest with her, I think the worst thing for him to have done, honestly, was to have sex with her. If he hadn't have done that, there would be a different conversation here. It would just be a matter of, wow, he just didn't like the woman that he was married to. Okay, moving forward. It's just such an entangled mess, you all. But I had to talk about this because it's running rampant, especially in these intersections of people of color, specifically Black women. Especially those of you who are darker skinned, like beautiful Paige, her beautiful dark skin. Okay. And then you're dealing with Black men, because we got to talk about both ends. And I'm just going to talk about this, and I'm going to keep it all the way real. For some reason, Black men, because there's another dark skinned young lady on this show who is in a relationship with like a Puerto Rican guy, right? I forget her name. If you guys know what it is, you can put it in the comments or in the chat. Beautiful couple. He loves her. He's attracted to her. It was great. It was just attraction. It was standard, beautiful attraction, and they were happy with one another. But I notice a pattern with Black men who are darker skinned. Let's keep it real. I don't care if this is triggering, because it's true. Darker skinned or brown skinned men that are on like the dark skin spectrum, they tend to show up in the most resistance towards women of the same skin tone, or in the darker hues. They tend to have the most reactionary response to dark skinned women like Paige. And I want to take a survey to those of you who find relation to that. Leave it in the comments below. Have you had experiences as a Black woman that would concur with that sentiment, where dark-skinned men, Black men, dark-skinned or brown-skinned men have a resistance towards dark-skinned women? Because again, there was another couple, and this girl may have been darker than Paige, or about the same skin tone. I'd say about the same skin tone. And there was a lighter skinned male who's fine. There was no, but then again, they have different features. They do show up differently in their femininity. So there's so many different things to observe in this conversation. But speaking from my own personal experience, I do notice, let's speak to personal experiences. So I've been in situations with mixed men. Obviously, majority of the men I've dated have been non-Black men. That's just my experience. I don't know why it's been that way, but I tend to attract non-Black men or mixed biracial, multiracial men. Now, my experiences with Black men, because I have dated Black men, of course. I desire them, but there's a lot of healing that has to happen in order. Okay, that's another conversation, another video. Okay, but my experiences with darker skinned men differ greatly than lighter skinned or non-Black men. And I want to hear from you in the comments, in the chat. What do you think? I feel like there's something that we have to discuss. There's an issue here. There's a wound here. There's It's an intersection that we have not addressed when it comes to darker skinned men, black men. And I'm sure, like, if you're Indian or if you come from, like, if you're brown, I want to hear from you too. Do you notice that in your communities where, or in your culture, where it's like the darker skinned men tend to have more resistance towards darker skinned women as opposed to like the lighter skinned? So again, speaking from personal experience, I just felt that. I felt like that had something to do with it. And then you see it literally playing out on the show. It's like, okay, the dark-skinned man has an issue with the dark-skinned woman, but the light-skinned man or the Puerto Rican, whatever, Latina or Latino man is okay. No, not even okay, is highly attracted to this beautiful dark-skinned woman. Is that an intersection worthy of consideration, or is it just happenstance? Is it just, coincidence? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me take a moment to engage you though in the comments anyway. Let's see. What are you guys up here saying? Having sex in order to feel close or some attraction? No, I never believed it. Exactly that. Don't let a man take advantage of your body. Period, point blank. Just don't do it, ladies. Don't do it. I feel like he was in victim mode. Think about it. You're on national TV. Yeah, he was all up. He was in victim mode. He was being narcissistic. He was being selfish. He was being erratic. He was being a child. Think about how a child acts when they don't get what they want, or they thought they were getting the red popsicle instead of the green one. But the thing is, you know what the risks are. If you're on a show where you don't get to see the person before you marry them, that's what you sign up for. You have to be ready to stand in that. Not, oh, well, she's too dark, or she's not feminine enough, or whatever. Because there's a comment that he made that was so disturbing. He said to her, or he said to her friends, which personally, Paige, those ladies are not your friends. Because if someone told that to my friends, no, if my man or someone that I was dating told that to my friends and they didn't tell me, goodbye. Like, what is your purpose? Huh? I don't need you. Because he said something to them along the lines of, I might be able to find it, but he was talking to them and he said he wants someone, or he normally goes after someone who's the opposite of Paige. So what's the opposite of Paige? I thought it was going to be a Caucasian woman or something. Well, according to what seems to be his taste based on his baby mama, okay, we'll get to that. Her name is Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken. He's talking about very prissy, the long weave, and slim features. She had a slim body. She kind of looked like Sierra. It's just a different eminence. It's different. It's featureism and colorism. She was lighter skinned and she just had like a different, she had a different eminence that he would consider over Paige. Now, I want to show you guys this conversation, if I can find it, where he's basically, listen, everyone is talking about this. I'm just looking at it, looking at the search results on YouTube, and everyone is talking about this, y'all, because and the thing is, it's so embarrassing for black women. Can you not do this? Listen, and I say this to you as your sister. Can you not do this? And I was really upset with her. I was really upset with her for a moment on this show. I have this weird, compassion, of course, because I understand she's human, but she's desperate. Is that not obvious? And I was really upset, but let's see. So Chris and Paige conversation with friends. Let's see if I can find this for y'all, because I'm like, are these really friends? Not in my book. Hell no. Okay, not in my book. I normally date people opposite of Paige. Excuse me? You tell her that. You tell her that. Anyway, I can't even find that. But if you watch it, let's see. It's very triggering. It's very triggering. It's very triggering. Okay? Because I was in a situation where when I was 18, y'all, I was triangulated by I was dating this guy. His name was Malik. So if you're watching this, yes, I'm talking about you. And I was 18 years old. His father was Rasheed Wallace, played for the Pistons. I thought I hit the jackpot. I'm like, well, I'm going to LA for college, but he has his family has a home there, so we could anyway, long story short, I was bamboozled, y'all. I gave this person a very, very important part of my womanhood at the time, right? And he was playing me. He's playing me. And you know how I found out? I'm going to open up and tell you the whole thing. So we were at his place. I had spent the night. And we were at his place. And he had this big window beside his bed. And someone knocked on that window. Knock, knock, knock. Opened the sliding window and came in and started cussing him out. And it was this woman cussing him out. And I was under the sheets, butt naked. I know. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Who's this random strange woman that's cussing you out in your bedroom? She snuck through the window. And she was like, what are you doing with her here? What I appreciate about this woman is that she didn't go off on me, because normally women, for some reason, women will go for the woman and attack her instead of the man who's actually committing the act of cheating on you. So she went directly to him and started cussing him out and was trying to hit him and stuff. And this whole thing just blew up in front of me. So they leave. He says, he's like, get dressed. I get dressed. And I decide, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but this is what happened. I was a page for a moment. But it was literally for a week. I was a page for a week when I was 18 years old. And then that part of who I was died. You don't operate like that as a grown adult, period. Because when someone shows you how much they respect and value you, goodbye. Especially if it's indicative of them not having any respect for you, there's no conversation that you can have. There's no sex that you can have. There's nothing you can do to change their mind. So anyway, long story short, I ended up walking up the stairs, and I was listening to their conversation. And he was like, oh, we're just friends. And this is someone I was in. Listen, I don't know if I was head over heels. When you're 18 and you're in a relationship and it's your first serious relationship, I overheard their conversation. And he was like, oh, we're just friends. Don't worry. She's leaving to California. She's going to college. She's leaving for school. Don't you worry. No, baby, I want to be with you. Blah, 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 blah. That told me what? This man doesn't value me. So I opened the door and I just presented myself like I heard the entire conversation. Now what? Right? So I drove off in my car and I went home. And then the spirit of whatever Paige is dealing with right now came over me, and I wanted him back. I said, no, let me prove it to you. We can make this work. You know what? And I feel like God intervened, because I ended up going, to California, and I forgot about this individual. But I tried to make it work for about a week. I would show up to his place, and he would basically continue to tell me what I wanted to hear while he was she was in the background the entire time. He triangulated me and made me feel like I had to prove that I was the one. And you know what? I don't even want to put that on him. That was, I'm the one who was seeking the validation. I had to check myself. So when I went off to school, that died. I was like, okay, that's not going to happen again. So again, Paige, let's bring it back to the topic at hand, because I'm going on a tangent, but I want to relay a very important message here with this dialogue. And I also want you guys to be able to relate to me, because I'm not talking down on this woman. I've been in situations where I was showing up in that low self-esteem and self-worth. But we have to leave this at the door. We have to evolve out of the garments of desperation, out of the garments of feeling like we have to prove ourselves to anyone, especially when they tell you indirectly and directly. He told her straight up. He was like, I'm not with it. I'm not attracted. And she continued to position herself to be humiliated on television. So let me check the comments really quickly, and then we'll watch another video just to kind of keep it moving along. Okay. My brother is a darker skinned who doesn't like dark skinned women because my mom would always call him a black bitch, etc. Sometimes it starts in the home. Yes, it okay. So that makes sense. So it was you feel it started with his relationship with his mom. Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts most of the time. But I noticed that this is a pattern, y'all, where black men or dark-skinned men are just like, they can't do it. They feel like they have to migrate as far away from their melanin as possible. And it's unfortunate. It's an intersection that I think is worthy of discussion, though. My brother feels he would be judged and never fit in. I know where it started. Fitting into what? So see, this is another thing. This is what popular culture does. This is what the mainstream does. You look at what's on television, you look at the music videos, you look at these agendas, and people are very, I mean, they're just brainwashed, right? So he wanted to fit in with the in thing. Okay. Well, listen. Personally, I think the in thing is doing what everyone else refuses to do, which is honoring the beauty within yourself first and foremost, and then admiring that in others genuinely. Right? But I'm getting all worked up and listen. So let's move forward. So back to the topic at hand. So there's this spiraling happening on this Married at First Sight with Chris and Paige. It becomes collective dissonance because everyone on the show, obviously they talk and they're on the show together. So, there's two characters on this season who tried to stand up for Paige, and Chris actually went off on them. And it just created this ripple of dissonance. Because, again, you have people who are trying to defend Paige on one hand because she's not really defending herself, which I feel like that's what it should have been. I feel like they should have been pouring into her saying, leave. There's no question. Leave. And they were, and they, I guess in some sense, but it just was very like, they were directing a lot of it at Chris, where it's like, he's telling her at this point, he's not attracted. And she's still hanging around. Now, for Paige, she may be in a mindset where you don't need attraction to make a marriage work. Not every marriage is based on attraction. There are people who are in marriages who are not sexual, let's put it this way. There are people who are in marriages who are with someone who is not their type, and they make it work. They build empires. They're traveling the world, and, they find a way because they're compatible. And then they kind of override the hang-ups and they make it work. So I'm thinking, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. And perhaps she's coming from a vantage point of, okay, he's not attracted to me, but we're still compatible. And he's my husband and he's a man of God. So there's still some parallels and some commonalities that we can work through. You know what I'm saying? So perhaps that's where she's coming from. So then I feel like this is what happened intuitively. Chris realizes, okay, she's not going to divorce me. Like, she's still here, even though I told her I'm not attracted to you. And listen, this whole attraction thing went through really strange, like, ebbs and flows, because he told her he wasn't attracted to her. They got to the honeymoon in Vegas, where he told her then, I'm starting to be more attracted to you now. Let's try to make this work. Then it went back to, they had sex and the whole group got involved, and then Chris started to kind of withdraw again. Then he decided to go to see his ex, which he later presented as the mother of his child, y'all. So he told this woman, Paige, his wife, that, Well, actually, I have a pregnant ex-girlfriend now, or ex-fiance. She's pregnant with my child because I was getting it in with her before I came on the show. So that says a lot, because he wasn't taking the show seriously. He went on the show just to BS, right? Because if you're really taking the show seriously, you want to be married at first sight. You're not going to be sleeping with your ex-fiance, a few weeks before the interview process, or, before the process begins. It's so selfish, it's dirty, personally, and tasteless, but he was doing that. So again, halfway through the show, or halfway through their whole thing, she finds out that Chris's ex-fiance is allegedly, I say allegedly because personally I don't believe it, but is allegedly pregnant with his child. So he's like, okay, she's gonna leave me now. Like, come on, this is... No. Paige is willing to work through it. And the part that really disturbed me is how she was using her religion as a ball and chain, y'all. The religion is not meant to enslave you or handicap you. You see? This is why on my main channel, I make it a point to rebuke the religious spirit, because you're literally watching it operate in this woman. Paige is possessed by a toxic religious spirit, y'all. Look at the outcome. Humiliation as her legacy. I wouldn't want that kind of karma on my worst enemy. So, with that being said, here we are. So, it just becomes really toxic, strange, and triggering, uncomfortable. So then I want to move forward to this sit down they have with the pastor, and just we'll address some additional commentary as we progress. But let me go ahead and leave your comments. I will check them out after this, but I want to show you guys what happens next. Goodness gracious. Lord have mercy on this young lady. Oh my God. Could you imagine having to live through this, to be known as the woman who was... Anyway. Which one? Okay, I guess this one is part 1 of 3. Okay, here we go.
That face that is usually covered by her phone has finally made an appearance. That face wouldn't be...
Right, Chris essentially threw a bomb in my face, saying he wants to get a divorce. It really took me off guard. I was not expecting that. I thought that being in Chicago, he would have had a moment to reflect on the commitment that we both made to one another. And I felt like he just threw all that away. Hello.
Hi, Paige.
How are you?
Awesome.
I just kind of want to get another person's opinion on where should I go from here. Like, it's a lot of different things that are running through my brain.
Paige, how are you, lovely lady? Good to see you. I mean, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
I know it hasn't been beautiful, but you look incredible.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's been rocky.
Will Chris be joining us tonight?
I have no idea. I really don't.
I need you to feel as though you're being heard.
Okay.
Okay?
Where should I begin?
Tell me how the wedding went.
Right, okay. Honestly, I felt a disconnect. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but it didn't feel like my husband desired me, and but then he wanted to be intimate. And I was just like, well, I think we have time.
Didn't I tell you there was a disconnect in the beginning? There it is. So she felt it from the beginning. Let's continue.
For that.
Intimate sex
Yes,
on wedding night.
exactly. We ended up doing it.
So you consented?
Yeah.
Why? Tell me why.
I mean, he's just like, you know, you're my wife kind of thing. And it was more like feeling like it's a duty than actually connecting with my partner. Even though that was an internal battle, I just didn't want to upset my husband on the first day of us getting to know each other. So then the next morning, he wanted the same thing. We had sex again, yes, we did. And then he said that you're just not the type of woman that I'm typically like attracted to or my type. So it's odd because you decided to consummate your marriage and you didn't have an attraction to that person.
Okay.
His argument was he wanted to do it to feel close to me, a closeness to his partner.
That's BS. I'm sorry, I can't say that because I'm a pastor, but that's BS.
I probably should have recognized then some of the red flags, but I was like, I was committed to this process because that was my intention from the very beginning when I signed up. When I made vows, that was what I wanted to commit to.
Right.
So all of that, fast forward, when we get to the honeymoon, he shares the news that his ex-fiance is 6 weeks pregnant. Six weeks pregnant. There's no way.
Hold on. If she's 6 weeks pregnant,
Yes.
a month and a half,
Yes,
he had sex with her during this process.
exactly. When we were knee deep in this process. So I'm thoroughly confused. Like, am I hearing you correctly? And so he told me the story how her father had passed away and he bought a flight out there to see her, to console her, and they were intimate. But even through that, Pastor Cal, I was like, I'm gonna ride with you because I've been with men who have children.
Right.
I'm not new to this, I'm true to this.
Did you continue to have sex during this period?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about that, because I want to know where your frame of mind was and what was going on in your head.
So we've had sex pretty much every single day with the exception of probably 2 or 3 days. Yeah, 2 or 3 days.
Were you protected?
No. Ever.
Paige,
I
Paige,
know.
my
I know.
love, Paige,
know.
Paige. Talk to me, honey, why?
His dad talking about this honeymoon, baby.
Yeah, but I mean,
know,
do you even know now if you're, I mean, how do you know you're not?
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I just came on my period. So I'm
You
good.
did?
Yeah.
So,
Right. Chris, essentially.
Okay, let's talk. Let's engage some commentary, y'all. I'm just like, oh, child, Lord have mercy. Paige, she reminds me of like, I don't know, I feel like I know her. Like I knew her in high school or something. Like just one of those really nice young ladies. Just really sweet and kind. I feel like she was paired with a narcissist, and you're gonna see that play out once he shows up to this interview. We'll play each part. There's 2 more parts to this, and let's see. I will. Can you guys hear me? Interesting. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Why are they suspending? The devil is a lie. You see? Oh, policy violations. Can you guys hear me? Ooh. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear me though? Let me see. Hello, hello. Damn, they are strict on this. Shit.